Well, hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, what a exciting evening we have. I'm with JUNOSPHERE. Hi, Juno.
Hey Val, hey everybody.
Viviani's here. Butterfly Kisses is here, and it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this was Juno's
No, it
idea.
will be on Sunday on New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah,
building up to it. And this is June. Okay, so let me clarify. This is
yeah.
Juno's idea, but she's like, we need to. Um, it would be best if we gave people some ideas to think about at the end of the year to go into the new year, and how significant this is. I mean, we're
Mhm.
never going to live through this date in time again. Hi, oil painter. Diana's lurking. We love it. So it's 12/31/23. It's the only time we're
Mhm.
really going to experience this. But as Juno was letting me know, I started getting a lot of downloads about it. And this is I have a couple of things here. It's a portal of a divine connection. And I kept getting it's a divine reset. I kept getting that for all of humanity. Um, it's the last day of this year, and it was a complete reset. It's a complete reset, and go with the flow. Now we're talking about that day, and of course, the very next day is New Year's Day, and astrologically, I want to say on 12/31/23, Jupiter stations direct. Okay, Jupiter's been in retrograde this whole time. So she stations direct right as we're going into the new year.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Yeah, and then on the first,
Wow.
Mercury stations direct.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's like
I
it's
didn't know
go
that.
time. The signs, the sky, spirit, everybody's telling us it's go time, but really not fly out the door yet. Hi, Jessica Lynn. Hi, Pisces Greeter, TK. Hi, Laurie Hunsinger. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. I love all your energy. So, as we are honoring and closing this end of this year, and this really is the end of I mean, it's since time before this, but let's just go back to 2012. This is significant this year. So much is going to change. Things are uh, uh, for okay, and let me say this because I'm getting all excited.
I am
As
too. I didn't know that part. Like wow, and maybe you told me, and I went right out in one ear, now the other. Now this time it's stuck. I love
oh
it.
no, well, we're a spiritual community, okay, and I used when I created my channel, it was to help raise a vibration on Mother Earth by raising our individual vibrations with self love and acceptance. And that's what I was guided. That's my message for my channel. And as this is going on, earlier I was writing it out, and what does that mean? What does it mean to be a spiritual community? They want me to go into detail. So, and Gino and I discussed it the other day. It is about being heart centered and soul centered, but your foundation is your integrity, your authenticity, um, your ability to be in the truth, to be a neutral observer in the truth. Not judgmental is what I mean, and have a set of ethics. We have to be. We don't have to be anything. They just, but it is our for everyone's highest best if we're neutral observers in love, unconditional love and truth, isn't judgmental. And that was really coming in hard. And I kept getting the Holy Spirit expect miracles. So 1, 2, 3 is number rooted in growth. 1, 2, 3 is the symbol from our guardian angels as they instill con- confidence inside of us that we require for the next phase of our work, our lives. I should say that again. Did you get that? Did you?
Say it again. I was reading something.
Oh, no, it's okay. So 1, 2, 3 is rooted in growth.
Yeah, I
One,
heard that
two,
part.
okay. It's the symbol from our guardian angels as they instill the confidence in us that we require for the next phase of our journey.
Wow.
It
I'm
was
glad you
just,
said that twice because I heard it, but it didn't, you know how it is? Like
yeah,
sometimes something you have to hear it again. To like, wow, did I hear what I thought I heard?
I know. It's like, what? I
Oh,
was getting all this stuff last couple of days. My brain's just like,
yeah.
you know, and it's like, we are moving upward. We're spiraling up really quick now. And we have that ability to, we've we've integrated enough of this higher energy, these frequencies, to stabilize in the higher frequencies longer and longer and longer. And that's going to really be important this next year. As you know, a lot of these old systems and constructs are going being restructured as spiritually based structure, not old abusive systems that profit off of people. And that's always coming in. And then I got 1, 2, 3 is the Trinity, mind, body, spirit, rebirth, reinvention, and alignment. So whew, it's a big year. But okay, so we got this big year coming in, but here we are honoring 2023 and all that was before it. Okay, now I don't know what Juno has, but I know it's fantastic.
Well, I did more. I'm more focused on the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 than next year. You know, we can maybe do another get together and talk about that even deeper because I know you have a lot of cool stuff on that. But I looked at from a few different aspects. But one of the things it says it's symbolic of an extra sparkly new year, and that this might be a portal for like bringing love into your life or adding to your bank account. But before I get into like the numerology stuff part of it, I thought I would talk a little bit about how it relates. A lot of our viewers are familiar with tarot cards with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so I pulled out the Magician and again, I'm ready here. The Magician, let's see. Is that going to be backwards to you guys? Because it's upside down for me. And then the High Priestess and then the Empress, right? And it's not the Fool first, because remember the Fool was 0 or 22, you know, the Fool, because this all goes in a circle. Once the major arcana, we work through that in our life, just like how in astrology, you work through all the signs throughout your life, you know, in certain ways. And on a certain level, you also work through, you know, the cycles of the major arcana, not the whole deck, just the major arcana. So we have the Magician, the High Priestess, and the Empress. Excuse me. And the High Priestess is about manifestation and having infinite potential. And you look, you know, he's got the cup and the pentacle and the sword and the wand. You know, he's got all his tools. He's got everything he needs. So this is really, you know, I would encourage, I mean, I want to do this for myself also, is focus on this last day of the year and the import of this, because we can bring in, we talk a good game about blah, blah, blah. Well, we could, let's manifest it. Let's bring it in. And I know I watched, I think it was Revealing Light. She was talking about the Magician and this card being really important this year. You know, the idea of being the conduit, you know, heaven and earth. That's why he's got his arms that way. And then also the infinity symbol, the lemniscate. You know, next year is going to be an 8. This year was a 7. 2023 was a 7, and next year will be an 8.
Yes.
So the Magician is also correlated with the spleen chakra. So that would be, you know, your solar plexus. And in Shinjitsu, if you want to help the spleen chakra, you hold your thumbs, either one, you know, and just that's baby. What do babies do? Babies suck their thumb to harmonize. You know, they're so wise, even before they come out of the womb a lot of times. So that's another thing, you know, this could be part of your meditation. And I'll give you the other 2 fingers for the 2 and the 3 that you could hold if you're doing some meditations on New Year's Eve, you know, or even before that. You know, we can focus our energy starting now that, you know, towards that day.
Yeah.
And the crystals that are associated with the magician, and there's more, you know what I mean? This is just a brief, if you listed everything, we'd be here for till next year at this time. But you know, the stones for the magician are opal and agate.
Nice.
So opal is because it's so watery, it's like the most sensitive of stones. You know, pearl would be another one that's got a lot of water in it. So if you have an opal, or you just, if you can't afford crystals, go on the internet and get a picture of one and just look, bring up a picture for free and just look at it and absorb that energy. Don't let, not having it in your possession keep you from focusing on that energy and pulling it in. Right. And let's see, what else do they have? And the magician is about owning your own existence, and it's about your skills and potential. So maybe this is a good time to evaluate where you're at.
Yes.
What do I know how to do now? I do have these skills. What are they? How can I move them forward? How can I bring that to the world? And if I'm a newbie, we have a lot of new people coming in and they're interested. How can they align with somebody, a group that can help bring them along at their, because there's a pathway, there's steps to getting to where we are. And that's part of what the magician can bring in, that, combine. And then the rune that goes with him is called Ansuz, Ansuz, and it looks kind of like a feather, like that, like pointing up.
Is that also Fehu or no?
Say that again.
Is it Fehu? Fehu?
No, that's a different one.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I'm glad you asked. And this is rune number 4, and the theme of it is God, and it's about communication and answers, mysteries and knowledge. So, goes right along with. I'm sorry.
No, I love it. I'm just getting excited.
Yeah. So I thought, you can, you guys, when I get all the cards laid out, you can just do a print screen or take a, so that you have a picture of it. If you want to focus on the energies and you don't have these cards at home, you can just get it from the video. So then next card would be the High Priestess. Oh, and the Archangel that was with the magician is Archangel Raphael. So then with the High Priestess.
Warrior girl. Yes, there will be a huge influx of newbies next year. Yeah. Just going to say that definitely. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
And those of us who are a little farther along, I think it's our responsibility to do what we can to be of service or help them, or, if we can't meet their immediate need, maybe we can align them with somebody, who's looking to, what I mean? Because the way we all learn is by we're working with each other, and we're all, it's all building. It's pretty cool.
Right. It is cool.
Yeah.
Good. So many new groups too. Yeah. I see a lot of new groups coming into places to get together.
Mm-hmm. And it's so encouraging. It's exciting. And there's there's so many choices that, it's just like you shop for a pair of shoes you like, you know what I mean? You try them on for a while, walk around in them, and then, or sometimes we outgrow each other and then we move into different situations where we can learn more from new people. So it's all good. I think the key to us, because everything's going to be, there's a lot going on, and to be flexible and adaptable, and like you were saying, that the wise words you had about staying neutral, and so
it's so important. It's just so important.
Definitely.
I'm going to add a bunch of moderators because I can remember to do 2 things at once today.
There you go. Well, I'll talk about the High Priestess while you're doing that. Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you an out. So the High Priestess is associated with Archangel Gabriel, and she is about sacred knowledge and looking beyond the obvious. So, and also your own inner voice and your sense of your own self. So you can say, manifesting, if you're not quite there yet, this is something you can manifest, to bring in your inner higher priestess and have that energy come out. And she's also associated with the spleen or solar plexus chakra. So again, hold the thumb on that level of it. And the stones for her are moonstone and pearl. and you can see, you know, on the top of her, it's actually a moon, but it can also look very pearlescent in between. Well, these could be moons, the
Yeah,
crescents on their side.
I have a
And
moonstone right there.
you got one?
Yeah, it's on my finger. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it to where anybody can see it.
Oh,
There we
yeah.
go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love that priestess and moonstone. But it isn't. Go ahead. Go ahead. I wasn't. You know me. I'll just start talking
Well,
about other
go ahead if you want to say something.
No. It was. It didn't. It wasn't making sense. It would have. It's
We'll put it
okay.
in and save it for later.
Yeah.
So the moonstone, I just found this little tidbit out. It used to be called Astrion, Astrion, since it was believed to contain light from the stars, which it could collect if it was held up to the night sky. I just like the way it just sounded so, I don't know. It made me feel good to read that.
Mystical.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? Well, you're gonna read that first thing that you were telling me earlier. That one.
Oh,
quote
that one. Yeah. Let me read it now so I don't forget the part about the blind spot.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Hold on. Bear with me. Okay. It says blind spots are gateways to new viewpoints.
Mm.
So instead of feeling like, oh, I have a blind spot, oh, that's a bad thing, or oh, you know, what am I missing, or whatever, it's just an opportunity to, you know, expand your vision, turn your head more, look around more, move around more, you know, all kinds of things. Just look at the difference now with having, now that there's drones out there everywhere, and we never used to see things from the perspective of birds very often. Right. You know, it would be a rare, like somebody was flying or in a hot air balloon, but now it's like you can follow flash floods, you know, coming like in the desert here, because it's like a dry water lake or riverbed, and then poof, all of a sudden here's all this water. It's really interesting that we're having, even just think of that alone. I mean, as a concept that we're taking in the world from a whole different perspective, how the stars see us.
Yeah. That's cool. That is so cool when you think of it, because we haven't had that bird's eye view really until
not in the way we do now. You know, it's really, I mean, anybody can, you know, if you have however much money to buy a drone or have access to it, you can go fly over all kinds of stuff and see. You know, even just looking at Google Earth and looking, you know, it's really different that we have access to that now. So
I know, that's so neat. I mean, it's so much stuff going on, and it's just, you know, there's so much good, and it seems like our society, or parts of our society, just constantly focus on what's, the circus, everything that's wrong, everything that's.
Well, that's the control. That's to keep you in fear, then they can control you. That's what that's all about. You know?
Yeah.
And, so anyway, back to the moonstone. It helps focus the mind and intentions and taps into intuitive and psychic gifts. So if those are things that you want to work on, you know, even though this is not necessarily for the whole year, if you start the year off, the last day of the year, you focus on these 3 things, you know, chances are you'll be able to manifest those things that you took the time to envision, you know, took the time to focus. It's kind of like a little bit of homework. And the rune that is associated with the high priestess is it says Othala, Othala, but it says to pronounce it like Othela. And the letter O, the rune number 23, and the theme is inheritance, your legacy, your birthright, your generations, family bonds, you know, the legacy of past generations. So you can think of that in terms of your, you know, if you're into the ancestry thing, you can look at that part. I mean, that's been a really fascinating journey for me, but you can also look at it as your past life ancestors, your galactic ancestors. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for you to go with that.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn. I think Warrior Girl said stardust is magical. It sure is. I love it. We're made of stardust, all of it. That's why all these different perspectives matter. You know, we could just keep searching. You know, who are you? Who am I? Who are we? You know, and there again is the main point of all of this that Juno and I are talking about tonight. where you place your focus is is what you create more of. So if you're heart-centered, soul-centered, working on, your specific gifts and talents and things like that, that's just going to grow more. But if we're and to me, wasting our energy on things that I can't control out in the world, I just think it's important. I love how you have there's cards up, and it's the main point of it, all of this.
Well, I think sometimes it helps to have a visual thing to focus on, and to carry that energy, because all these symbols do have energy. Like if you look at
Yeah.
the High Priestess card, that's what is it? The tree of knowledge, what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about? That's the pomegranates formed
Pomegranate. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just, it's, people who are new to this and are really anxious to learn, but they feel intimidated, like it's too much. It's a journey. Like, look at it with excitement and going, okay, right today, maybe I don't know what any of these things mean, or it's your first time looking at it, or you've looked at them and you think, oh, I'll never know that. You know what? I didn't know it either, but I just got curious, and I just started learning and journaling and playing around with it. And it's like, it's better than Dungeons and Dragons and all the games and stuff, because it's got, you see the historic meaning, you start to understand. And then I think that learning about these ancient symbols connects you more with your ancestors, because these are the symbols that they operated under. So it opens a way for them to communicate with you in the language they, understand or have access to. So anyway, I don't know where that came from, but it came on my mind.
It's true. Yeah, I can't remember. I mean, it is. It's so true. The more you know, and it does. We just build and build and build on that. And like you said about Dungeons and Dragons, when you're just fantasy playing magic. Well, this is real magic.
Well, and a lot of those things, like, the Marvel comics and stuff, it's based on ancient, these stories are they just put they draw the characters differently, you know what I mean? But the things they go through, like what Joseph Campbell talked about, the hero's journey and all that. But anyway, back to the stones, I just wanted to touch on about the pearl. It says, if a diamond is the epitome of the masculine gemstone, then the pearl is equally prominent as the feminine symbol. And you also look out of these three cards, two are female. We got the Empress here, we've got the High Priestess. So there's a lot of feminine energy, and focusing on that can be very beneficial. And I think we tend to have more female viewers out there, but that doesn't leave out, because we both have both energies.
Right. We have both. And that's another thing that's being with that 8, that infinity coming in. We're balancing our divine masculine and feminine even more. It's becoming more of a flow state. I mean, it's constantly moving, but that's how I was being given that. And that, what was I going to say about the Empress? I mean, she's just, you're right, though. It is more female in the sense of, okay, I've been getting this a lot lately, and I don't know if this will resonate, but how the divine feminine had been suppressed for so long.
Right, exactly. And it's got to balance out. The pendulum always has to swing back to where, but there's a big arc, once it starts turning, it turns at that apex. It's still got a long way to come back on that curve. You get a hairpin change that's too much, then it's too, look at how hard it is on us already, all these changes. If you did it in a hurry, it would be more than we could physically handle and emotionally, I feel.
We wouldn't have made it. Yeah, if all the energy came in at one time, we wouldn't be able to withstand that.
No.
It was just no, and it's okay. It's growing and growing and growing, and we are we're gonna see some really beautiful stuff this year.
We're on the upswing, things are starting. We've made it around the bend, so
yeah.
And then the Empress, she's about abundance and creativity and achievement, nature and being natural, like your own naturalness, being spontaneous. And it says obviousness. So I thought that was a really interesting word. And she's related to the root chakra. So, you think about being grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the other two were the spleen. So the spleen is where we energetically process sunlight. So if you think about how important, and two of these cards are connected to, the first two are connected to the spleen chakra, the solar plexus.
Oh my goodness.
So,
now see, that's perfect for the astrology, because the sun is the main player. Nothing would grow without the sun. Nothing would be here on Earth in this perfect Goldilocks zone that we're in. Because you can see Mars and Venus don't have, or Mercury don't have anything growing on there at the moment. It looks barren. I'm sure there's something there, but yeah. So the sun is. I just love it. I just love how all this gets woven into these, the foundations of who we are.
And you start to look at, I'd like to pull together different modalities and show that they're all interwoven. They all have the same, it all comes down to numbers, really. The universe is all about numbers. Everything's about numbers. But the stones for the Empress are the emerald and jade. And the emerald is related to the god Hermes or Mercury, who's, about writing and communication and knowledge. And he wrote the secrets of the universe on a great emerald tablet. So I thought that I'd love to see what that looked like.
I would love to see it too. It's just fascinating. And that's another thing. I do believe a lot of hidden history will be unearthed next year. Like a lot of things are going to really,
like archaeology wise and stuff. Like they're going to discover. Yeah.
And it's really going to alter our view on what we've been.
Well, we were operating what we it's all about what we understand at the time. That's what we present is what we understand at the time, but we're always changing. Like when I wanted to back up when you were talking about who am I? I think that's a good question to ask at least once a year. Probably, but because I'm not the person now that I was a year ago.
No.
And so you can look at yourself and you can evaluate, and write down the positive things, and then the other things that you need to work on, write those down too. But keep it in balance and be kind to yourself. The emerald is also symbolic of arcane information and carries the wisdom of the ancients.
Wow.
So anybody who's lucky enough to have an emerald, that's pretty cool. And they would place an emerald on the throat of the mummies as they were embalmed so that the limbs of the corpse would retain their vigor in the next life.
I love knowing that stuff.
Isn't that the coolest? I love researching for these things because it's like, something new. I learned something new.
Tell me some more.
And now I can talk about jade because that's the other one. And jade comes in many colors, but the most rare is the apple green. And it's associated with midwives. So there you go again with the female energy. It says its polish suggests knowledge and education, and its smoothness suggests kindness. Its strength means it is the stone of righteousness, and its rarity stands for purity.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that just gorgeous?
Yeah.
And it's just, you think of all, just look at all the beautiful stones that come out of the earth. And like you were talking about just a while ago, what haven't we discovered yet? What is there going to be? Because it's going to be pretty amazing.
And it is. It really is. It's just like, it's so exciting because it does feel like, okay, we're at this point where we're turning a corner. We really are. And it is good to stand here for the next couple of days with your hand on your heart and honor the past. And what you've learned and what's going with you, what isn't going with you, who's going with you, all of it, and reassess,
and be thankful for the struggles. There's a song by the group Walela, Wash Your Spirit Clean. I'll put it on my community. I'll put a link on my community page for that. It's a song that it's, how you go in phases where you'll listen to a song every morning for a while and then you go on to something else, and it's in my rotation of one of those that's just so powerful. and it's sung in Cherokee. And sometimes I really like having things sung in a different language, because then I mean, it's done in both, but then you don't get hung up so much sometimes on the words. I just wanted to finish with the Empress and put down the rune card for her. And for that is, it's spelled Berkano, and it's there in the pronunciation here. It says Berkano. I guess that's right. Yeah, Berkano. Rune number 18, and it's the birch tree, which has to do with birth. So there again, you go, the Empress is pregnant, and you have the emerald for the midwives, or was it the jade? I lost
Jade. Yeah.
And the keywords are fertility, beginnings and birth, renewal, inspiration, and mother goddess. So, here we are, that female energy again, and it looks just like a bee pretty much.
Yeah.
So there you go. You can kind of play with those things. And I just wanted to throw in a couple other quick things if I could.
Sure.
And then we'll go on to what's next. But in Jinshin Jitsu, number 1, because we're back to the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the first thing I heard when I realized it was the 1, 2, 3, it's the waltz. That's the step in a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it is in other dances too. And then I just did a little research about waltzes, and you dance the waltz in a counterclockwise around the floor motion, and it's called Widdershins. It's counterclockwise motion, and that has to do with the feminine. Let me see where they wrote this.
Oh, that is so really cool.
Yeah, it was. Let's see. It's the left-hand path, and it's the opposite direction to the sun. The left side is the moon, women, and yin forces. And it's about tuning into your feminine energy. So even any guys out there, we need your help with the feminine energy balance, because this is how we're going to heal and nurture, going forward. Because there's a lot of people that are damaged out there from everything that's on all kinds of ways. You know what I mean? We're all, and we're all here to be as uplifting and helping of each other's. But the waltz is it's a gliding dance, so I kind of looked at that too. Like, think about glide your energy into next year. And it's also, when you do it, if you look at the steps on the floor, it makes a box. Like if they were, put your feet, how they used to place the feet there. So then I think about that being 4, which is the Emperor card, which is your stability. So that was the card after this, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So
that is so cool. I love that. The stability, bringing in the Emperor. Right now, we're in Capricorn season. This is when we really do feel motivated to take responsibility, do some things, get things lined up, make your New Year's resolutions, things like that, right? But it is about that flow that you were just talking about. That I keep hearing that word. How did you just say it? Oh my God, I loved how you said it, and I just forgot about it. Instead of flow, you said something else.
About flow? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It comes out
I just said the way you said it. I'm sorry. But it is. It's the nature.
Gliding. Maybe
gliding. That's it. Gliding into your own beingness. With these energy columns, and energies constantly swirling in and through us, and what we call in and honor. It's really.
I think a lot of women, because when you go through tough times, and I know there's probably a lot of single mothers out there and stuff, you have to tap into more of that male energy. And so this is also a time to allow yourself to, give yourself that bubble bath or treat yourself to a pedicure, whatever it is for you that makes you feel girly and, nurture that feminine side of yourself, because we've had to, we, all of us know, I mean, I live alone, but I still have to do, it brings out a different side of you when you're going through what we've all been going through the last several years. So, but I wanted to just talk on one more little thing I wanted to give everybody a little Jinshin Jitsu stuff. So, me, I always got to throw the Jinshin Jitsu in there.
Yeah.
So in Jinshin Jitsu, number 1 is the prime mover. Okay. And it connects extreme heights with extreme depths. So you can see why it's associated with the magician card. That's what he does.
Okay.
Extreme height and extreme depth. So again, that's the thumb, and that's the general practitioner. And the color that goes with this is the color deep yellow. So you would think about the color that's on the magician card. It's a pretty deep yellow color.
Yeah.
The the number 2 is it means life force for all creatures. And it is the illuminating intelligence. And number 2 has to do with the chiropractor and has to do with body alignment. The color for it is blue, and how you can harmonize that energy for 2 is through the ring finger. So you can hold it, this way at the back of your hand. You can get in between there, with you really detail it. One thing I found is really powerful is turn your hand over and get your thumb down in your palm. Okay.
Oh.
Feel that?
Like you didn't even, wow.
Yeah, there's a whole, we'll talk about this another day, but this is very powerful. Everything that's connected in the palm, but very powerful energy. So, and then you can switch and do the other side. 5 inhales and exhales. So so you could start with thumb, and then you could go to ring finger if we're going 1, 2, 3. And then 3 is understanding, and it's the door. How perfect to have the door on New Year's Eve. Yeah. We got the door going into, the next 365 days. And it's a defense against problems and discomforts. So it's a good way to kind of set your boundaries, all this stuff comes with responsibility. And first responsibility is to ourselves, just to be truthful with ourselves and protect ourselves and to be thoughtful in the way we use our words towards others. And that's how I interpret that. And it's about sacred intelligence. It's the respiratory specialist. So all of us who are dealing, a lot of flu and other, RSV, a lot of things, we all know what they all are. They're going around that affect our breathing. This can really help our breathing, just holding your ring finger. The color is green. I'm sorry, and the middle finger is for this. The respiratory was the other one. But I know that also ring finger also helps the lungs. So that's why it helps on a different level. So, number 3, and this number 3 and the middle finger harmonizes anger also. So this is a good thing. You want to harmonize all your anger from last year and let it go.
Yeah.
You could just sit there and watch TV, put on some Netflix and chill and Jinshin Jitsu, and just work through all your fingers. You don't have to just do those 3, but those were how those 3 are related. So it's 1 is the thumb, 2 is the ring finger, and 3 is the middle finger. Because I goofed it up the way I said it there. But anyway.
I love it. I know. I mean, I've watched Juno. She's explained Jinshin Jitsu to me a few times. These easy to do, just grab your thumbs, grab your middle finger, and I'll forget. And she'll say, remember, grab your thumbs. And I'm like, oh, goodness. And it does. It totally realigns you in that second. Because I think that's another important point about next year. The powers that are going to try to trigger us continuously.
They're not going to try to. They're gonna.
They're doing it now, and you got to have that in a moment. What can I do to realign myself? This feels so good. When you put your hand on your heart, you grab your thumb, just the things, even just putting your hands like in a prayer position. I do that a lot because it just automatically calms me. And I just do it. But
there's a lot, there's a lot when you do, you increase your psychic ability and your intuition when you put your palms together. And all the organ flows, everything is in the palms. This is so powerful, the palms of your hands. And if you look at the amazing things about your hands, there's 144,000 functions in the body, and each finger harmonizes 14,400 functions.
Oh my
God! And you're never going to remember all those. I'll never remember all, but I know I can remember to hold my fingers, and I don't have to. I don't have to know what they do. You know what I mean? It'll still be harmonized whether I know intellectually it's doing this or it's doing that.
Right.
Oh, great way, and if we knowing, like you're just saying, we're going to be triggered, right? So the more that we do this, the more opportunities that we can take during the day to center ourselves and be calm, the better prepared we're going to be for when we face those triggers. And, I've started asking my guides and angels before I even get out of bed in the morning to mitigate anything that comes my way that's a challenge and help me to stay neutral, to stay calm, and help. If there's anything they can do to pave a little way for me, like fill out, whatever it is, like whatever that little secret thing is that I don't know how they do those things. Like I went and laid down. Here's the story. I think I told this to Val the other day because this just happened. A friend of mine sent me several small wrapped Christmas gifts, and a few weeks ahead of time, and I'm by myself, so I'm saving them. I'm like, oh boy, I'll wait and I'll have something to open on Christmas. But I didn't know what they were. I didn't like try to feel them or anything like that. I just set them there because I want to be surprised. And I'd looked at them every day, walked by them like 10 times a day, every day. Well, then Christmas Day comes and I totally spaced it, because I was just in my own mode and, down a rabbit hole. But I always wear, because it's cold here now, it's like 28 in the morning, and I wear a Mobius, like a scarf that goes around. But it's, a Mobius is like a chain, except it's, it's more like an infinity symbol because it's got one twist in it, right? Mm-hmm. So it fits really nice around my neck. And it was like a summer one. And I went to take a nap and I laid down. I walked down the hall and I went, I should make myself one of these out of faux fur because it would be soft, it'd be thicker. I'd like it better. I lay down, I take a nap, I get up and I go, oh, I remember I've got Christmas presents to open. I opened my presents and one of them is a faux fur Mobius to go around my neck to keep me warm.
Unreal.
How does that happen?
I know. That's such a detail-oriented thing. And this is like the things that we are calling in. Like, I'm not saying a BMW or anything like that, but, I wish I had a blender. I don't have this, or just silly things.
Big. Think big.
Yeah, they just kind of like, well, yeah, I guess we should think big. And they just appear, and it's like, wow, how did that happen? I love that, Juno. I love that that's happening to you.
And it had been sitting here, like I could have opened it a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, and there it would have been. And I've been wearing that other one for weeks now because it's been cold. And I never had that thought until that moment of walking down the hall. And I wasn't even thinking about, well, look, I'll have to see if it's in my presence. It was just so bizarre. Like when you get in the flow and I don't wait till I have an emergency to ask my angels or guides to help me. I invite them in before I even get out of bed in the morning because they're my friends. I want them. I want this dialogue. I want that help. And they can't help if you don't ask. So you have to get over I went through that whole thing. I'm not worthy to ask. I'm not worthy. If they can't help you if you don't ask them. And they're just waiting,
They're with us from the moment of birth. So we all have a team. And so every time I do a live or I get together with anybody, I call in my higher self, Juno's higher self, our teams, all of your higher selves, your teams, and I stick us in a gold bubble of truth and unconditional love. And those types of things, there's always a lot of dragons around. I call that in all the time because I love how it makes me feel. In the morning when I wake up, it's like, I don't know, this started years ago. I immediately feel a hug from Mother Earth. And it's just like, thank you for the hug. Thank you. Please show me the next best step today. Just simple things like that. And it really does, it changes the whole direction of your day,
And if you're in a bad spot, and you feel like you're in a rut and nothing's going right and whatever, you change it with your language, and it takes practice and it takes time, but that's how you turn it around. Because if you keep saying the negative thing, you're just writing it over again. You're saying, okay, universe, I want more of this. Give me more of this. Really
focus.
Envision it the way you want it to be, and that's what you speak from. Just like the thing about don't, not to use the word try, you're not trying. You're either doing it or you're not. And to say you're trying takes all the power out of what you're wanting to accomplish.
Oh, and say the breath one. You're not
you don't take a breath, you receive a breath. It's a gift. And when you're not feeling very abundant, just think about how many, without even having to focus on it, how many, what's the word? Not unconscious, automatic. You just breathe. Yeah. And the other thing I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the angel number 123 is a stepping stone number.
Yes.
And it's a message from your angels that you're on your way towards what your goal, whatever goal you've put in your mind.
Yep.
So seeing this
Yep.
number reminds you that this little things matter, and paying attention to the details right now is important. And also because it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you know what I mean? It's repeated. It's so important. It's twice. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But you know, I really think about the dance and how to. I want to dance through next year. You know.
I like that. Yeah. So it is. It's a new start. It's a new start. We can dance into next year. That's our choice. It is our focus. Everything is based on our focus. If we choose to focus on I'm dancing into next year, it's perfect. If we're or I'm going to struggle, that's what we'll get. And it's so hard to. It's terrible. I feel terrible saying that, but it is so true. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And that's what we are. We're all energy columns. We're energy. Everything is energy. And we have so much more control over our manifestation, creative abilities than we've ever been taught to believe. Now, I know a lot of us we're in these chats all the time. We're in these channels all the time. And we know that there's real magic. Energy's magic. Magic's energy. To me, it's just the same thing, you know. The 12 universal spiritual laws are another good thing to get into. That'll help you. You know, that's where the law of attraction comes in, but there's 11 other laws. But we do them so fast and it's automatic. Like if you get those down, you can really create some big things. I mean, you probably can create big things now too, just by saying it, like Juno said. And it doesn't feel like so experimental too. It's like, okay, well, let's see what I can do.
Oh, well, the first thing I thought of, I'll tell you, I mean, when I opened up that package and saw what it was, like, I mean, I exclaimed out loud, I'm surprised the neighbors didn't hear me. And the first thing I said was, ooh, what else can I do? You know what I mean? Let's do something. Let's make it bigger and better. And what else? And because if we can do something like that for in our own little lives, just think about what our energy does when we send it out. You know, those of us who maybe we don't have the money to donate when there's a disaster or whatever, and we feel like just these thoughts and prayers. Those thoughts and prayers are powerful things.
Everything. You send love out every day, and that's the first thing I do. And I get that hug in the morning. I just bless the water, bless the air, bless the soil, I bless every molecule on Mother Earth. I say that like a few times. I send love always to the children and animals. And then I just keep extrapolating out. And that love, whatever you send out comes back. So I'm always feeling the love from others. I didn't do it to experience that. I'm surprised that how much love I do receive from others. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And I mean, the thing that Juno unwrapped was such a specific item.
Fake fur. It was specifically fake fur.
Do you have it close by?
I don't know.
I mean, it's like, how do you? I'm gonna go make one of these when I wake up and unwraps it.
Yeah, there it is. And let me tell you, and I want to back up a little. The first thing I did was I was grateful to the person who sent it to me, and I was also grateful for the angels and the guides who brought it. It was just that, instead of, I mean, it encouraged me. It showed me, oh, I can do things. We all can. Yeah. And so, but you know what? They're not going to give you the fancy thing, but like you said, the BMW, whatever it is, maybe not going to give you that right away. Maybe you work up to it, but you work with little things. Maybe it starts out as a penny on the ground or a feather or a pretty stone, but then it's so exciting to experience these things. And before I get out of bed, another thing I do is I ask the guides to bring me a happy surprise every day, not just a surprise because the toilet overflows is a surprise, but a happy surprise, And then I started asking for, they told me I have some new guides I'm working with, and they said to send out a request like a miracle anonymously to somebody you have no idea who they are, and you're not trying to say if they're involved with this drama or that war or this or that, just that spirit knows somebody, and it could be somebody needs just somebody to smile at them today, or it could be a big thing, but that spirit would go out there, and I'm sending out that miracle. You can have my miracle, you can have my happy surprise for today. And that spirit would know where to send it to. And then they came back and they told me later, and they said, they kind of nudged me and they said, don't worry, that doesn't mean you don't get yours too. You still get yours. It's like it multiplies. You're not giving away, you're not keeping yourself from receiving something by doing that.
No, it's exponential.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to speak it to give to someone else. Give my miracle to someone. I mean, just when you do that love, send out love through your heart every day, and it's rippling out. Like, this is all energy all around us, right? And it's in waves, and it ripples out. I mean, it's going as far as I mean, it's constant. Energy does neither has its, what's that go? Oh, geez. It transforms. It never dies.
Right.
Just never dies. It's a constant. So it, as you can see in our current world on the news, it is 24/7 doom and gloom. And they understand that. They want to pump that into the air, into the airwaves. Well, we're pumping unconditional love in, and we negate their stuff. That's how I see it.
Also, if we're focusing our energy on sending out something like that, a prayer or a miracle for somebody else, we're not stressing on something in our own life. There's such a difference when we get in that worry, that analysis paralysis, monkey mind, hamster wheel kind of thinking, because I'm as guilty of it as anybody, but I'm much better because I've learned to stop myself, and realize that it's not getting me anywhere. It's not solving any problem. I know a lot of people talk about fear is false evidence appearing real. And it came to me to say false expectations appearing real. Because so many times we going to the dentist. I mean, the time between I've made the appointment and the time I go to the dentist is worse than the time when I'm in the chair. It's all that anticipation ahead of time. And that's my example of how it is. But we do that in little ways all the time throughout the day. We kind of, self-sabotage. So keep your expectations. Like when you were talking earlier, it came to me, observe, but don't absorb.
Yes.
So it's okay to witness it, but stay. And it, another way of looking at the fingers with Jin Shin Jitsu, it's the 5 attitudes, and it's how we harmonize those. And if you stay out of the attitude, if you don't let it get rooted inside you, it's easier to get rid of it. So if you're getting rid of, with a thumb is worry, index finger is fear, middle finger is anger, ring finger is sadness or grief, and pinky finger is pretense or trying to, or efforting, trying to be happy when you're sad, or any of those things, not being authentic. So you can work with harmonizing those attitudes within yourself to keep yourself more grounded. I do this in the grocery line. I'm standing there at the cart. I'm holding my fingers. If I'm at the stoplight in the car, I'm holding my fingers. If I lay down at night, I work through my fingers. And there's other things that I do also that are Jin Shin Jitsu, but these are the simple. They're so everybody's, most people. Okay, I know there's some people that have, issues with their having all their fingers and everything, but and even if someone, like, say you lost a finger, or God forbid something happened, the finger is still there energetically. Like we've had people that have come in that have had an amputation, and they'll still have that phantom pain in the limb, and we go through, work with them and hold that space like you would if their leg was if it was their foot, if they were missing, say, from the knee down, but you still hold in that area where that foot would be, they get relief from that pain. It's really amazing to see. So that, like, if someone's had an operation and had an organ removed, the organ is still there energetically. So work with the energy of that.
And that's how this is a good point, because this is how a lot of this ancient sacred knowledge has been hidden from us. If we realize that we are whole. Everything in us is whole. It's there. We came in with it. The energy is here. We can experiment and really play with it. Play with these. I started with the little experiments of love. Thank you. I say thank you to everything. I say thank you to inanimate objects. And I just, it's just a habit now. And it makes my life so much easier. It's these simple, simple things that mean everything in the, for your well-being. I'm not saying, that, well, it is magic. You could create anything with that, in my opinion. And as we start this, we end this year and start the next year, and we just take the time, take the pause. Diane and I have been talking about this for uh, the last 6 or so months on the moons. Take that breath, take the pause, really go inside, release what you do not want to take with you, and call in, ask your team for the things that you do want to cultivate, or the attributes you want, or the skills you want. Don't use the word want. See,
Choose
Juno
to
and I are
have.
gonna,
Choose
yeah,
to have.
yeah, Juno and I are gonna do a show on words, that how to, there's so many words that just negate anything you're trying to do, because you're using the word try or
Don't put
not.
on me, right? And
Right.
don't put on others. There's a lot of, conscious language, and
Yes.
people who are stuck in a rut and they want to know, how do I get out of this? It isn't that, whatever you think, it might come in a different way than you expect, but there are ways to take responsibility for the situation you're in, and wording things, and really being aware of, what kind of things do I say? Like, one of my words I need to really work on is, I say just all the time. And you look at
Yeah.
how limiting just is.
Yes. I do
Not
too. I say
justice, but just is.
yeah. And want is the worst word you could say. You're just hanging out there wanting, don't. I mean, just because it's like the I am statements is how we are to approach this energy with spirit, with the spirit realms. I am stated as a fact.
Yeah.
You don't say I'm not that, I'm not this, because that's, you're already negating it. We're just kind of talking in circles when we do that. But it is so hard for us to say, let's say, I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. Just a simple one. And even if you say that throughout the day, I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. And wealth comes from all different things. It's just not monetary. So it's us getting used to saying these things, because it literally, I know my throat chakra would close up. It would be like the words wouldn't even want to come out. What do you mean you're healthy, wealthy, and wise? And I would just kept doing it, kept trying. And I still do it now with anything I'm trying. It's either I go try it, that I am doing for the future.
Mhm.
It's definitely, those secrets, I think, are really going to come out to be. And I do think I'm going to do the 12 universal spiritual laws again with the signs, the zodiac signs,
I love it.
because this will bring it into, everybody wants to see what their sign's about, right? And I
Right.
think that would be cool.
Oh, I
But
love it.
remember this, we're all 12 signs. Yeah, I have a sun sign, but I also have um, where's my Pluto? Very important. As important as where my sun is. And we're gonna, Diana and I are gonna do that again next year, where we're gonna invite people to bring their charts for our moon ceremonies, our moon talks, and this way you can see where, how to start finding things in a chart. What does that mean for you? It's just so much that we're going to bring in next year. Juno and I, Diana and I, there's so much in this community that we're just remembering how strong we are. And it's not strength over. it's internal strength, how strong we are inside, and how, as we remember that, and our community grows, we grow. We that foundation grows of integrity and honesty, and it's just to me, I just see it just blossoming really, really, really well. Who was I talking? I was talking to my friend Zoe last night, and she started a channel, and it's with the lotus in there, and she goes, everything starts in the mud. You know how the lotus grows out of the mud, and I just thought, wow, pretty profound. She's like my daughter, so she's quite young, but it's amazing to see people her age, all different ages, opening up to
Mhm.
to the magic of who you are, what we're capable of. And as a society, the light workers, love workers, energy workers are here to bring in that peace and harmony as we go into the age of Aquarius. And let me say this, on January 20th, I think Diana and I are doing a show on that day where Pluto and the sun go into Aquarius. Oh my goodness, I've been waiting for that day. But I do want to give you kind of an idea. Think back, what was 9 days ago? What would the date be? That was where the galactic center, the sun was
The
on the
20th,
galactic center.
right
The
around
20th.
the solstice time.
Solstice, yeah. Think back to what happened to you around there. Either a few days prior, or it's still going on now because this is a big gateway portal thing. Um, that galactic center really did something. It brought in higher. It's like we say that all the time, and it's like, how much more could there be? But oh my goodness, the information, the higher consciousness that's coming in, and what your heart really, really was set on. A lot of things are just appearing,
Yeah.
like Juno's scarf. That I know so many instances where things just came out of nowhere for people.
And it was what they
What
it's
they
almost
want.
like, I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't even verbalize this. It was a thought that went through my head
Mm,
in a flash, and then I went to sleep. So there's another thing, when, like, a lot of times we get we've got a problem when we just work on it with their brain.
yeah.
Go lay down and take a nap and ask the angels to work out the details.
Hmm.
And they also did this in a way that was so memorable. You know what I mean? Like this all, and then it creates a story. So it's an example to share with
Yeah.
someone. Yeah, I was
I
just
mean,
looking. I just have to share with this. If I don't know if anybody else noticed, but if you look at how this rune kind of, it mimics the magician,
yes.
and
Yeah.
this one is just like it does there's the symmetry of the pomegranates around her, and
Oh,
then her is like her breasts and her belly because she's pregnant.
that
Isn't
is
that
so
amazing?
cool. Everything's connected.
It
And,
is.
and it is just so beautiful. And as we remember who we are, and I know a lot of love workers, light workers, energy workers, we lived in a lot of poverty, lack consciousness, and that's going to change. I really get a big message on that for us this next year going forward. That's going to change as we stand up, and when we state our I am. I am an animal healer. I am whatever. It's gonna, the universe is, as you give, you receive. It's just, I just see this really cool balance. Again, like the waltz, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
And
is.
put on some waltzy kind of music. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you can have a modern tune that has that same, rhythm to it. You can find things that are in that way, and how do you want to dance through the next year? And I love
Right.
what Lori said. Love the aspect of honoring the
Yes.
past. Um, it's
Go
really
ahead.
important. But honoring, but don't get stuck in,
Something about
because it
honoring. I'm honoring in
can.
my heart now. It is so. It is. Yeah. Honoring is. I mean, every moment of your life. I always say I'm grateful for every moment of my existence, and that helps me when I'm getting stuck in a rut, or feeling down. But yeah, I mean, I'm just so glad that I know all you all. We see each other throughout the day in different chats.
There was
It's just,
just a big orb that went by you. I don't. There's
oh
not
yeah,
something. It was
mm-mm.
huge.
Oh
You're gonna
wow, I'll have to look
you
back.
mark the time. What time is it in the video and write it down. I can't write. It was.
104.
It went right. It was cool. I don't know if anybody else saw it. It was like huge.
Diana was seeing him the other day. 10431. That's pretty cool. I never even look at myself. I don't know. I'm always checking the chat, checking the
Yeah.
other
Oh,
stuff.
it was real obvious, and it went like in a diagonal motion. So and it's
No,
not the time of year to be having bugs around. The winter.
no,
So I don't think
we
it was
don't
a bug. It was
don't
interesting.
want that. Mary D is saying my head healing pain. What's pain in my spine, shoulder blade, and ribs under it. Still dizzy through motion. What happened? Oh my goodness.
Oh dear.
Yeah. See, this is okay. Again, this is kind of the indicator of this end of the year going into the new year is to go inside, rest, and really call in your team. They'll
Oh,
come
good.
in, they'll heal on, they'll you ask for healing, ask for anything. That's what they're there for.
And she can cross your hands and hold the inside of your knees. And if you can lay down and kind of do it in like be in sort of
Right.
a fetal position, you can do it sitting or you can do it lying down on your side. And that will help with the dizziness and that sense of being out of balance. That's again how we talked about being the prime mover in the
Mm-hmm.
safety energy lock on the body. It's the one is at the inside of the knees. So there you go
Yeah.
again. That would go right along with what we were talking about. And that's like if you guys don't remember anything else from me and you all of a sudden you have, a first aid issue right away holding the inside of the knees oh no. Oh dear.
I'm sorry, Mary.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh.
really do that. So right now, do the hand things. Can
Yeah,
you hold
I
your
gotcha.
hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hold
Because
your thumbs,
hold your thumbs.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
sorry, Mary. We'll send you
Sorry.
lots of love and healing.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been to the doctor? Warrior Girl's asking if you were seen by a doctor. She's got a concussion. Oh
No,
my goodness.
that's nothing to mess around with.
No. You want to lay and just make sure you're hydrated. I don't know how to.
Well, we're not doctors. We're not trying to
Right.
get medical. We're just trying to
Right.
be support what you can do in the immediate moment, but definitely need medical attention.
Thank you, Juno. Does anyone have any questions as before we wrap up? We were going to read cards. I guess we'll read cards next time.
Yeah.
Um, it was a really the show is about honoring this past year and really thinking of that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 because it is a double. It is very powerful for us. For entertainment purposes only. Thank you, Viviani. Um, it's important to do that. Honor yourself, love yourself. Mary, we send you love.
Most definitely. Lots of
God,
healing.
yeah, lots of healing. Everybody, enjoy your New Year's Eve in a couple of days, and we'll be back soon. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Juno?
No, just appreciate everybody being here. And this is a preview of my new mandala. This is called the Expanding Universe. So I worked really hard to get it ready for our show today because I thought this is about us expanding. And this already has probably 30 some colors in it, just going from, like each row almost is a different shade of going from blue to green. So showing how we can expand, how we can send out those seeds, and how you were talking about growing in darkness. What was it that you talked about with I can't remember, but the point was that seeds grow in darkness, right? That's where they sprout. They have to be underground, and the best gardens are covered in the most compost. So if you're feeling like you're buried in it, know that means plant those seeds of potential so that you can sprout with some new life and turn things around. I think 2024 is going to be a really much better year for us. Not that it's going to be easy, but I think we're making progress. We not need to focus on that.
Yeah, this is our year to focus in on ourselves. Release what no longer serves, and we'll be back. Diana and I will be back for the new moon. Juno and I will be back. Also, if anyone wants a reading, please. Juno's information's in the description box. She does all different types of Akashic records readings and card readings. I do psychic astrology readings. My information's down there too. We would be glad to assist you in any way we can.
Mm-hmm. And one other thing I want to show people, if you have worry and fear, you can hold your thumb with one hand and your index finger with the other.
Oh,
So
like
you got
that.
worry and fear at the same time, and you can switch and do it the other way, whichever you can do them both or do one, whatever you want to do. But worry and fear together. So if we do that and send that energy out, it will help harmonize it worldwide, not just in our own person. So
we love
you so
you
much for having me here, Val. I appreciate
Oh,
you.
thanks for coming to hang out. We love you all so much, and we're excited about this new year. We have a lot of new stuff coming through. All of us, we're all creating, right? It's beautiful.
Definitely.
But we'll be back. We love you. Have a great night. Oh, go ahead.
See you next year, everybody.
See you next year. Happy New Year.